Cosmic Vinyl. I am Cosmic Brian, your host. Glad to have you, man. It's weekend video time. Dun, 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 dun. Glad to have you aboard, cosmonauts. Man, this is gonna be just a kind of a quick video, kind of off the cuff, as I'm going back to my home state of Iowa tomorrow. Got a doctor's appointment back there next week, so I'm going early on the weekend. Gonna catch up with a couple of buddies on the way, my brother. And hey, in case you're wondering what we were listening to there, it's this Madhouse, First Damage. I'm sure you all know who the metal theologian is here in the vinyl community. Man, and if you don't, I don't know what stone you've been hiding under, but fantastic, very smart guy, knows not just metal music, but knows music, and he's just a really intelligent cat, man. But he sent me this a while back with along with the Blue Oyster called Imaginos, and I think he pressed these up and has just been distributing them like to friends, and I think these are available to buy as well. You'll have to reach out to the metal theologian Aaron himself, but yeah, this is fun. This is freaking great, and check these guys out, man. I love it, man. Very raw, very lo-fi, but very what they lack in like technical prowess and, you know, quality, heavily makes up for it with that gumption, you know what I'm saying? Like with that enthusiasm, so to speak. Got a little lyrics sheet here, and a little bit of information, liner notes here. I love this, man. This is crazy. And the stickers just put on the outside of the sleeve. This is great. I love stuff like this, man. This is gonna be like some of it's late 70s, most of it's 80s hard rock, glam metal, hair metal type stuff. So any of you guys that are into that will thoroughly probably dig this video, or not. You never know around this place. So, but why don't we do a quick big chug, man? Get things rolling with a little cold brewski. I'm down if you are. I am down, but I am also unbalanced. Aren't we all? All right, this is to all my unbalanced friends out there in the vinyl community and YouTube. Here we go, down the hatch.
Oh, yes, my good friend, of course.
Good stuff. All right, let's get this thing going. I'm going to start with a couple of cassettes I picked up. You're probably wondering, God, I don't think I've ever seen him show cassettes before. And here's the deal. There's a couple of cassettes of some 80s bands that to go out and buy these on vinyl would probably cost me a vinyl organ, or at least it would cost me quite a bit of money. But anyway, this first one is Britny Fox. This is Boys in Heat. Let me take it out of the... found these for just like a couple of bucks at one of my local record shops, Planet Score. I surely wish this was vinyl, but it is what it is. You take what you get, man. There's a picture of the band there, what they looked like around this era. There you go, some more pictures of the band. This was released in 1989 on Columbia Records. This is this is the follow-up to their, fairly successful debut album, self-titled debut album. And it's the last to feature the vocalist and main songwriter, Dizzy Dean Davidson, who moved on to another band. I don't know if there was some sort of conflict between him and the rest of the band, I'm not sure, but yeah, Philadelphia band, very much on the order of Cinderella, and I feel like if I remember right, they do share history, as some of the guys from this band were in Cinderella at one time. So, but yeah, pretty damn good record, man. Just happened to be released during the transition of, you know, the 80s hard rock and glam and hair metal over to the grunge thing. And a lot of these later albums by these bands got lost in that transition. And a lot of these albums are really good, man. They just got no play, man. You know, the MTV and the radio and everybody had just kind of moved on. And even though these guys were still bands like this were still putting out good quality rock and roll, they were kind of, you know, shunned, which is a shame because there's some good music on a lot of those albums that were released in the late 80s. On this, there's a cover of Nazareth's Hair the Dog. Not a bad cover, actually. Sounds pretty damn good. And there's some other great tracks on here, but I was into that whole scene in the 80s. I don't think I picked up anything beyond this record as far as this band goes. So I have no idea what direction they went in with the new singer. I mean, like I said, Dizzy Dean Davidson was the main songwriter on that first record, so, and on this one. So I don't know where they went from there, man. I'll have to check into it because I've been kind of looking at picking up a couple of those albums as well. So, but check this. This next one is by the band Smooth Opinion. This is Bullet Boys. This is Freak Show. This is their follow-up to their pretty successful debut record. And let me show you the picture here of the band. There's the band members there. That's pretty much how I remember them from the first album. There was quite a bit of time between this album and their self-titled debut. And like 3 years, and this didn't come out till 91, so their album came out in 88, and it was great, man. They kind of took the rock and roll scene by storm with like the song that I so butchered so badly, and Smooth Up In Ya, and then the money. But yeah, 3 years is a long time gone by to come up with your sophomore effort. The musical climate had changed quite a bit by then, and so I'm going to go out on a limb and say this probably wasn't really that successful of an album. But I do recall a story. It's story time with Cosmic Brian. My brother and I and some of our friends were in Des Moines, Iowa, man, and we went to see Bullet Boys, and I believe it was on their tour. It was a club that we seen them in touring this record. And when they took the stage, I gotta tell you, I barely recognized the band. Gone were the long blonde locks that the singer Mark Torn had. And in fact, he looked kind of rough, man. He had like dark curly-ish hair and a lot of growth. Not very similar to your friend Cosmic Brian here, except no gray. It was black. But I gotta tell you, they still sounded good, but man, they looked a lot different, man. I was expecting to see what they look, you know, how they looked in the inner sleeve there, but and we were tripping balls that night. We stormed the governor's mansion that night. Yeah, you wouldn't get away with that shit. In this day and age, you'd get shot. But we drove right up into the driveway of the governor's mansion. I don't know what the hell we were doing. Don't let this be known, young people. Don't take acid and go visit the governor at 3 a.m. Oh, Jesus Christ. Good. We had a great time though, man. I believe we finally stalled out that vehicle we were in the middle of a cornfield. It was quite cold. Anyway, let's move on to the next album. This is one, me and the Perch have been putting together a pretty formidable run of Scorpions albums, and this is one that I didn't have. This is Scorpions' Love Drive. I'm getting kind of a glare there because I do have a shrink on this. But check out that cover, man. The Scorpions, oh my God, they had some of the most politically incorrect album covers ever. And in fact, I think I seen an interview with Uli John Roth that said he is absolutely embarrassed by the covers of that era. And rightfully so, but I mean, and then I seen an interview with Klaus Meine, and he was like, really? This is just breasts. There was people, girls in the front row every show around this time showing their tits to the band, and so they thought it was okay. Like I said, it was a different time, different era. Doesn't make it right, but yeah, it's a funny record cover, that's for sure. Love Drive, man, this is cool. Released in 1979 on Mercury Records. This is the Scorpions cementing that Scorpions formula that they would follow so close to throughout the 80s and into the late 80s, early 90s of their career. Basically a hard rock and jams commingled with like one or two ballads. That basically describes what you get with Love Drive here. This is a great album, man. Great production, great guitar. This is features a new record label for them. They switched to Mercury Records. Also some new players on this album. Matthias Jabs makes his first appearance on here. He does play on some songs on this album, but Michael Schenker also plays on this record. Michael Schenker had left the band. He was replaced by Matthias Jabs. Michael decided he wanted to come back to the band. They basically replaced Matthias with Michael Schenker. And then while they were on tour, either in Germany or France or somewhere in Europe, Michael Schenker decided he didn't want to be in the band anymore. And after some intense negotiations, they got Matthias back into the band, and he remained there for the duration, man. But he's a great player. He's no Michael Schenker, but you know, with him and Michael's brother Rudolph, they're a pretty formidable team of dual guitars, that's for sure. I love this record, man. There's an instrumental at the end of side one called Coast to Coast that I absolutely dig. Klaus Meine's vocals on this sound killer. It's just a great rock and roll album. But yeah, the cover art does not get any better. I think this was replaced later on with just a cover with a blue scorpion on it. But yeah, killer album, man. Highly recommend that LP by the Scorps. Now, this next one's going to be kind of surprised. You're going to be like, what? You never owned this album before now? Jesus, everybody owns that record, right? It's Van Halen. Whoops. It's Van Halen 1984. This was released in, would you care to take a guess what year this came out? Go ahead, take a guess, Vinyl Community. Yes, you got it. 1984. You nailed it. Well done, good and faithful servant. Jesus. Yes, I don't need to say a whole lot about this. I mean, like I said, everybody friggin' owns this, but Cosmic Brian. I've had it on CD for years, but didn't have it on vinyl. Finally picked this up. Probably their biggest selling album with David Lee Roth. Probably one of the best sounding albums. Roth sounds incredible. I love his vocals on this. It's probably the best he's sounded. But I did say that last video about Fair Warning as well. But he does sound good on this, man. And he wrote, helped write some of the songs on this one as well. But there was kind of a deal with Fair Warning where Eddie Van Halen wanted to, introduce a little bit of the synthesizer and, some keyboards. And Roth and their producer at the time, Ted Templeman, were like, let's just take this, you're a guitar player, man. You're a guitar god. You're an axe man. You're not a keyboard player. Stick to the, the big rock guitar. And I think Eddie was kind of miffed about that. In fact, I'm sure he was. So while they were taking a break after Fair Warning, Eddie was busy building his studio, the 5150 studio at Eddie's pad, right? And while they were building the studio and the band was on hiatus, he was learning to play the synth. I mean, he was just getting way into it and doing it without the watchful eye of Roth and Ted Templeman. And really, it shows up big time on this album. And it really is a good mesh of keyboard and Eddie's guitar, I think. I mean, this album was huge. I mean, this thing was chock full of hits. You got Panama, you got Jump, Hot for Teacher, and about every song on here is just friggin' fantastic, man. Big album. Of course, Roth would leave after this album and pursue his solo career. And so then the next album, everybody was anticipating, first of all, who would replace David Lee Roth as the singer, and then whose album would sound better? Would it be David Lee Roth's solo LP, or would it be Van Halen's first album with Sammy Hagar? If I remember right, I believe it was David Lee Roth's "Eat 'Em and Smile" that won out in the end. I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. Anyway, I got to move along here. So this next record is something I don't show a lot of, but this is an EP from an absolutely amazing prog metal band, and that's Queensryche. This is their self-titled EP. I got this pretty cheap, and the record is fantastic. It couldn't play better. But the edge here on this side of the sleeve is a little chewed up. But I gotta tell you, man, this sounds so good. This was released in 1982 on EMI America. And kind of how this came about was Queensryche asked Jeff Tate, who is played in some local bands. I think he was in a band called Babylon or something. They're from Seattle. And he asked them to sing on this EP. They had some studio time, and they laid down a demo, and then they sent it to, one of their buddies got a hold of it and sent it in to Kerrang! Magazine. And Kerrang! Magazine gave it this glowing review, right? And the next thing you know, they were getting a big record deal. And of course, we know the rest is history. They came out with Warning, and then followed by Rage for Order, and then of course Operation Mindcrime. But gosh, what a great band. I think this is more like kind of Maidenish a little bit, I want to say. Just an absolutely Jeff Tate's voice. His vocal range was amazing, and the players in Queensryche just rip, man. They're really masters of their instruments, big time. Some of the great tracks on here, you've got Queen of the Reich. I mean, that scream at the beginning, that note that Jeff Tate hits is just amazing. I'm not going to try it here. Unless I pinch my left testicle, I might be able to hit that note. Then you've got The Lady Wore Black. It's the sign of the... Jesus, whatever. I didn't realize it, but there's another track that doesn't appear on here, but it did appear on this album. The soundtrack for Decline of the Western Civilization, Part 2, The Metal Years. It's called Prophecy. I didn't realize that was even on this soundtrack. So I busted this out and gave it a listen. Equally as good a song. Could have easily been on that album right there. This is great too. If you haven't seen this documentary, it's fantastic. It covers the LA, the Sunset Strip in LA during the metal years, the glam rock explosion, that scene. Features bands like London and Seduce, and I think Faster Pussycat is in this. It's a great documentary and a great soundtrack. Wasp is in it. Speaking of LA rock, man, picked up this RATT album, finally released on vinyl. Had this on CD. It's basically a compilation, a collection of RATT's stuff from 81 to 91. In fact, that's what it's called, RATT 8191. No dash in between, just 8191. And this is a pretty good historic document of music of their stuff that they came out with in that era, in their prime. You've got stuff from the EP that they came out with. You've got like Tell the World, You Think You're Tough. And then you've got the Out of the Cellar stuff with Round and Round, Wanted Man, Back for More. And then you've got the Invasion of Your Privacy stuff, Lay It Down, You're in Love. You've got the stuff off of Dancing Undercover. You've got Reach for the Sky stuff represented here. Detonator. This is the one reason that I got this. I mean, I have all those albums with the exception of from Reach for the Sky onward, I don't have. And to get those now is quite pricey. So I picked this up because it's got some of my favorite tracks on it. Lovin' You's a Dirty Job, Way Cool Jr., I Want a Woman, Giving Yourself Away, Heads I Win, Tails you Lose, Nobody Rides for Free. Love this, man. It's a double album. It's like $30 maybe, man. You should, if you're a big RATT fan, or if you're a RATT fan at all and you wanted a big hits compilation, pick up that one. It was originally released on CD in 91. I believe this is like released maybe this year, if I'm not mistaken. But I always loved RATT, man. I've probably seen them more than any band from that era. I even seen them once when Jizzy Pearl was the singer instead of Stephen Pearcy, and they were called like RATT 2000. So yeah, you guys, God, it's good to see you again this weekend, man. We'll be coming around again next weekend. If you like what you see here, man, we would appreciate the sub. We appreciate you joining our team. We welcome all. Come one, come all. Become cosmonauts. We'd love to have you. If you want to know when me and the Perch put out a video, hit that notification bell. You'll know. You'll know. YouTube will tell you. And also, man, if you like us, if you like the video, hit the thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. Otherwise, stay cool. Stay cosmic. It's only rock and roll, only walk and roll, but we love it. We'll see you guys next time. Peace. Love you guys. Wait, let me think. So this is so this album features a new record label. They had left RCA for Mercury. God damn it, I've lost my fucking way.